Hey guys, this week for Weapons Wednesday, we're looking at some of our more dark and stealthy weapons that are perfect for nighttime use. But before we begin, if you just like this video and subscribe to our channel, that would be awesome. So last week, I showed you guys some of the newest weapons we just added to the KarateMart.com website. And then I asked you to go to the community tab and vote for which one you liked best. And there were some really cool weapons too, but you guys went to the community tab and voted for the stainless steel spear staff. Excellent choice, guys. This was absolutely my favorite choice as well. And maybe I'm a little bit biased because I designed this myself, but this is a really, really cool weapon. So this week, I asked Amanda to go back into the warehouse and find some of our newest dark and stealthy weapons that would be perfect for nighttime use. So at the end of this video, make sure you guys go to the community tab and vote for which one you like best. And as always, there's links in the description for the video if you'd like more information on any of these weapons. So without further ado, Amanda, what is our very first weapon?
Here you go.
Awesome, awesome. Let's see what this guy is. Oh, cool. All right, so our very first weapon is the rugged combat knuckle knife. Ooh. Oh, wow, this thing is awesome. I mean, we carry a number of different knuckle knives, but this one's very different than anyone I've ever seen before. The knuckle portion is actually in the blade of the knife, so that's pretty unique. So first off, I really like the feel of this knife. It actually fits really comfortably in my hand, but this is so cool. Let's keep looking at the rest of this knife. So it's got a spring assist, so all I have to do if I want to open the blade is just hit this little flipper here, and the blade opens very, very nicely. And look at that. That is such a unique blade on this thing. I love how the knuckles are built into the blade. It actually gives you a couple of different options when using it. Like if you wanted to, let's say, scrape the bark off of a tree, you could actually kind of put your fingers in there and just scrape with it. And then you can see also it's got that choil in there too, so we could put our finger down there, get a little bit of extra control if we were whittling or something, and then you could just whittle away with it. So I think that's pretty neat. Now it does have this ergonomic handle here. So if you were to really hold this, you'd probably want to hold it down here. That'd probably be the most comfortable area to hold it. But it is nice knowing that there is that choil there if you want just a little bit of extra control with this. So the blade itself is made from a 3CR13 stainless steel, which is definitely not my favorite stainless steel, but it is nice in the respect that it is corrosion resistant and it sharpens so easily. So I do like that aspect of it. And then we can also see that the blade has a stone-washed finish to it, which I actually really like stone-washed finishes because when you're using the blade, you often get scratches on the blade, and the stone-wash just kind of hides some of those little imperfections and scratches over time. So I do like a stone-washed blade. I think that's neat. Now the casing itself is made out of aluminum. And I'm not a huge fan of aluminum casings, but this is a very inexpensive knife, so that's to be expected. And then it actually has this glass breaker on the end that's made out of steel as well, so that's pretty cool. I like that feature on this. If we ever had to break glass to get out of our car, that would be great. If we wanted to use it as another weapon, we could use the end to strike with as well. But there's one thing I have to mention when it comes to this item. Check your local laws. This would be technically considered a knuckle duster, and there are very strict laws against knuckle dusters out there, so it's very important that you check your local laws to make sure you're not doing anything wrong. Now, the overall length of this knife when it's closed is approximately 5.5 inches. When it's open, it's approximately 9.5 inches, and the blade length is approximately 4 inches. And the total weight is approximately 7.9 ounces. I like the weight of this knife. I think it feels really good, but we've got to test it out a little bit. So first off, I just want to see how strong the knife is at chopping. So I'm just going to chop into this Wing Chun dummy and just make sure that it doesn't break or something on us. So let's do that first. I mean, that stuck in there really nice. And yeah, it's still very solid. No problem with the blade at all. Looks really good. But the thing I really want to test is the knuckles. So I'm going to put my fingers in so it's riding a little bit higher on my knuckles so I can swipe with it and just make sure that it doesn't hurt my hand when I'm using it. So I'm just going to pull this Wing Chun dummy out just a little bit so I can get a little bit better momentum with it. And I'm just going to kind of swipe with it. Oh wow, that actually felt really good. That didn't hurt my hand at all, and I know it hurt the Wing Chun dummy because this is actually fairly thin metal. So that, oh yeah, that actually digs in quite a bit. So I like this as a knuckle duster. I like it as a knife. I think this is a cool weapon, but that's all I have to say about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this away, and let's move on to our next weapon. All right, Amanda, what do you have next for me today?
There you go.
Thank you. All right, let's see what this is. Okay. Oh yeah, that is definitely a dark and stealthy weapon. Okay, and our next weapon of the day is the Black Mantis Combat Kama. Awesome, awesome. This thing is cool. All right, so I know what you're thinking. Clearly this is a mall ninja weapon, but I actually like it. I like the fact that it is a little unique looking. I want to see the blade really quick on this thing. Oh yeah. So this is awesome because if you are a Kama practitioner, I could see this being really fun to add to your Kama forms or Kama kata. So I think it's pretty cool. And as you can see, it's got this little lanyard hole at the bottom of the handle. So if you wanted to add your wrist straps to it for your Kama techniques, I think that would be so nice. And for those of you who don't know, many of our martial arts weapons originated from farming tools in feudal Japan. And the Kama actually originated from the sickle. But let's look at this Kama. So first off, we can see that it comes with this really nice heavy-duty nylon sheath. And then it's got this belt loop on the side, so we could actually keep it on the side of our body if we wanted to. So that's pretty cool. But if we look at the Kama itself, we call it the Black Mantis Combat Kama because it actually looks like the claws of a praying mantis. Like, think about that. It kind of looks like a mantis claws. Pretty neat, I like that. Now the blade itself is made from a 3CR13 stainless steel, which again is not my favorite steel, but I do like the fact that it is corrosion resistant, and I do like the fact that it's easy to sharpen. Now here's the thing that I'm not sure that I'm so fond of with this Kama. We can see that there's venting up here on the blade. We can see that there's venting here in the handle, which to me actually takes away a little bit of the structural integrity of the handle. But this is the part that kind of makes me nervous. So we can see that this part down here is made from an ABS, which is super comfortable, and I like the fact that it lightens up the weapon. Like this weapon is only 10.5 ounces, so that is nice that it's so light. But we've got to look at the tang of this blade. So we can tell that it is full tang because you can see the metal going all the way to the glass breaker there. And then if we flip it over, we can see the metal going all the way through the glass breaker there. But it's hollowed out, and you can tell because of that ABS plastic handle, which worries me just a little bit. I'm a little bit concerned that that's not going to be strong enough to actually handle some of our strikes, so we're definitely going to have to test that out. But I love the feel of this. That ABS feels really, really comfortable, and then it actually has a really nice looking design to it. And then we can also see that it has jimping up here, so that gives me really good control of the Kama. And then it actually has jimping here too, so if we were to hold this in reverse grip, that's really comfortable as well. And I love the fact that we've got this little glass breaker up here, so we could use that for non-lethal strikes as well. So very, very neat. Now the blade itself is very sharp, and the tip is extremely sharp. So I'm just gonna test that out on the Wing Chun dummy real quick. Oh yeah, I mean, you can tell that went in quite a ways. Yeah, that's, that's in there. Pretty solid, actually. So I'm gonna have to pull that out there. Yeah, I mean, that went in about that far, so that's pretty awesome. Now the total length of this is approximately 12 inches, and the blade length is approximately 4 3/4 inches. But I don't think there's anything else for me to really say about this, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this away, and let's move on to our next weapon. All right, Amanda, what do you have next for me?
There you go.
Thank you. All right, let's see what this is. And our next stealthy weapon is the Nightmare Tactical Karambit. Ooh, I like that name. That's a cool name. Oh yeah, this is my type of knife. I like this. Very stealthy looking. So the first thing I notice about it is it's both a neck knife and it's also got this clip to go onto your belt. So that's pretty neat. So if you're not into neck knives, you could just use the clip there. So that's pretty cool. So the thing is, I see that this belt clip is removable, and I figure if you're going to use this as a neck knife, I would definitely remove that, because otherwise it's going to be too thick and it's going to show up underneath your shirt. So I don't know, it's a nice neck knife though, and the reason I say that is it's got this breakaway chain on it that feels like it's a really heavy duty breakaway chain. This is definitely a nicer breakaway chain than a lot of the knives that we sell, so I do like that about it. A lot of people will switch up the breakaway chains for paracord. I totally understand that. The nice thing about a breakaway chain though is if someone tries to grab the chain and strangle you with it, it'll just break off. So that's a good feature of a breakaway chain. But we also have this little belt clip here, which is a good feature for a lot of people. This is the type of belt or pocket clip to where it generally looks best to kind of hang it from the side on your back. So if you need it, you just grab it and pull it out that way. I'm not sure if personally I would use this as a neck knife or if I'd just use that clip there. Both ways would really come in handy for certain situations. And we can see that this is a really nice Kydex sheath that's form fitted to the blade, so that blade is not going to fall out on you. It's actually in there very securely. But I want to look at the blade itself. Oh wow, that is a beautiful blade. I love that blade shape. Very interesting looking. So first off, if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I absolutely love when I see a ring on the pommel. They're great because they allow you to have added control of your weapon, and they also allow you to retain your weapon if you're in a combat situation. And then this ring is actually really comfortable too. It fits my finger perfectly. It's approximately a 1-inch diameter, so that's going to fit most people's hands just perfectly. So the blade itself is made from an 8CR13 MOV steel, and I actually really like that type of steel because it is corrosion resistant, it's got good edge retention, it's a fairly hard steel, and it's actually really easy to sharpen if you ever have to sharpen it. So I actually really like that aspect of this knife. And then we can also see that it's got a black finish around the blade, so that gives it extra corrosion resistance and it makes it a little bit more stealthy, which is kind of what we're looking for in this video. Now we can see that the blade itself goes all the way full tang through the handle, and this handle is really comfortable. It's made from a polymer and it's got these little grip lines on it, and we can see that it is an ergonomic grip, so I love how this blade feels when I hold it. Now we can also see that there's jimping on the spine of the blade, so that gives me good control as well. And then there's this thumb rise here too. So if we're going to be skinning or whittling, that gives us really good control for that type of situation. Now the manufacturer states that this is a trailing point blade. I'm not sure if that's the case though. If it is, it's definitely a modified trailing point, but I see that there's an angle here that's kind of a downward angle. So for me, that's almost like a drop point. So I'm very curious what you guys think about that. Just kind of let me know in the comments how you feel about that. But I want to try a couple different grips on this knife. So first off, in forward grip, it's very comfortable. That jimping up there gives me excellent control of this blade, so I love that about it. In reverse grip, oh yeah, it's extremely comfortable as well. I have good control of this blade, but I want to try extended grip. So in extended grip, it's very easy to transition into it, but because there's no jimping up here, I don't have a lot of control for the blade. I'd actually be a little bit nervous using it in extended grip. So if you're going to get this, I'd probably use it in a reverse grip or in forward grip, but it's very comfortable in both of those. Now, the blade length of this is approximately 3 inches. The total length of this is approximately 7.5 inches, and the weight is approximately 3.7 ounces. So that is a really nice lightweight for this knife, especially if you're going to use it as a neck knife. So I don't think there's anything else for me to really say about this. I like it. I think this is an awesome stealthy knife. But I'm going to go ahead and put this away, and let's move on to our next weapon. All right, Amanda, what is the next stealthy looking weapon you've got for me today?
There you go.
Awesome. Let's see what this guy is. All right, and our next stealthy weapon is the Stealth Tactical Hatchet. Awesome, awesome. All right, let's see. Oh, wow. Okay, that is tiny and stealthy looking. What I'm thinking about when I look at this is, what is the purpose of this thing? I mean, it's got a cool shape to it. I think this would throw really, really nicely if we use it as a throwing hatchet. I think that's going to be definitely a plus to this thing, so we'll have to test that out. As a close combat weapon, This is really nice. I like the jimping up here. It's got a really good ergonomic handle, feels really comfortable. So I think for a close quarters weapon, this is great too. I guess a lot of people are probably going to be thinking about this in a survival situation. I could see it being a decent survival hatchet. I'm not sure it's got the weight to it to be able to chop very well. Here, let's just try a little bit. This poor wing chun dummy. I mean, it actually chops pretty decent, so it will do some chopping. It just doesn't have a ton of weight. So I guess the nice thing about it is if you're gonna go out for survival purposes, it's gonna be super light on the side of your body. It's got a really nice nylon sheath to it. I mean, this is pretty heavy duty. It's got this little belt loop on there, so that'll fit nicely on the side of your body. So I do like the fact that that is so small that it's not gonna be overly heavy as you're trying to hike up a mountain or something. So the blade itself is made from a very thick 3CR13 stainless steel, and it is definitely full tang, goes all the way through the handle, and that's a really nice G10 handle too. And then also, if we're looking at this in a utility sense, it's got these little hex wrenches up here too, which, I mean, I'm not sure how much those would come in handy in a camping type situation, but I can't tell you the number of times I run into a situation where I need something like this. And then you can see that there's a lanyard hole on the knob of the hatchet. So that's really nice so that we could add a wrist strap if we wanted to. And then on the butt of the axe, we can see that there's this little glass breaker there. And that could really come in handy if we got trapped in our car or something. But honestly, I see this as more of a close quarters tactical hatchet. So I would probably use this for non-lethal strikes. Now the overall length is approximately 8 1/8 inches. The axe head length is approximately 3.5 inches, and the blade length is approximately 2.5 inches, and it weighs approximately 9.5 ounces. So if you're going to be using this for chopping wood or something, that might be a little bit light, but I see this as more of a tactical hatchet, so I think it's the perfect weight for that, and it's going to be wonderful for throwing. So I actually really like this little thing, but that's about all I have to say about this, so why don't I go ahead and put this away? And let's move on to our next weapon. All right, Amanda, what is our last stealthy weapon of the day?
There you go.
Awesome. Let's check this guy out. Okay. It's always fun seeing what you bring me last. Oh, cool, cool. All right, so our final stealthy weapon of the day is the Dark Combat Kukri. Ooh, I love Kukris. And for those of you who don't know, Kukris are a type of machete that are used by the Gurkha army and are known for having a very distinct recurved blade. But let's check this one out. So first off, we can see that it's got a really nice sheath. Now, this is not leather. That looks like it's a faux leather, but that is a really high quality faux leather. I mean, it's almost hard to tell that it isn't actual authentic leather. And I really like the belt loop on this. I think that's gonna fit really comfortably on the side of your body. So I actually think this is an awesome sheath, but you guys wanna see the blade itself. So let's open this up and check that out. Oh, wow. That is heavy. First off, this is made from a very, very thick 440 stainless steel, which is great because it's going to be very durable when you're using it for outdoor purposes. But the problem is that because it's so thick, it's an extremely heavy blade. It actually weighs about 1 pound, 15 ounces, which means that you're going to get tired swinging this thing for a long period of time. But I have a feeling you can get some excellent momentum with this. Let's just try it on the Wing Chun dummy real quick. Oh yeah, I mean, look how far that blade went through the Wing Chun dummy. I mean, that is awesome. Look at that. You can see just how far that went. And then what's also cool about this is it's got this textured charcoal finish to it, which is going to make it very corrosion resistant. So for an outdoor weapon, this is absolutely perfect. Now the handle is made from a G10, and that's fairly comfortable. It's got this little nook in here for your index finger that gives you good control of the weapon. And we can see that the blade goes full tang through the handle and transitions into this little spike at the end of the pommel, which has a lanyard hole on it, which is really nice because we can add a wrist strap to it, or we can just add extra paracord to that for survival purposes. Now the blade length is approximately 11.5 inches, and the total length is approximately 17 3/4 inches, so that is a perfect size for this Kukri. But I'm very curious to see which weapon you guys vote for in the poll this week, so make sure you go to the community tab and vote for which stealthy weapon you liked best. But if you have any questions on this or any other weapons I showed off in this video, definitely leave them in the comments below. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel, and check out KarateMart.com because we've got all sorts of really great weapons on there right now. But until next week, we'll see you Weapons Wednesday.